Vella.
Miss your favorite show? Download the podcast at kcaaradio.com.
Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden.
Take a walk on the wild side. Will the birds and the bees survive? Right before me, my newfound hippie side. Once ignored these conspiracies online. Out the window, visions of the earth. Sign me up now, make sure you use your smart. Take a walk on the wild side. Will the birds and the bees survive? Would your children lie to see Mother Nature's side?
This is Smart Health Talk radio show, and if you listen to the words of our song, you can probably get a pretty good idea what we're about. That's right, we care about the environment and we care about you. And that's why we're here. We're here for you, and I hope you're going to stick around because we probably have some information that could change your life. You don't want to miss that now, do you? No, that's because I was just talking to someone that called me about our Blue Monarch project. We're Smart Health Talk radio show, but we're sponsoring a Blue Monarch project because we know there used to be millions of monarch butterflies in the Inland Empire, but because no milkweed and too much pesticides, no more butterflies. And the butterflies are actually a litmus test of what's happening to us as well. If they're disappearing and dying off, there's a reason for it. And the pesticides are killing them at a rate of even what the government allows at half that. It's still 100% death of bees and butterflies. And that's why these neonicotinoid pesticides that actually have nicotine in them, a synthetic nicotine that gets the bees addicted to the poison. This is like, doesn't even seem right at all. And that's because it's not. And that's why I get notices all the time that, excuse me, the EU, which is the European Union, that they want to stop using it because we're headed to silent spring. And those of you that don't know what silent spring is, this was a book by Rachel Carson that was written back in the early 60s, and she saw the effects of DDT. She saw massive death in our beneficial insect population, birds, fish, just all kinds of life that actually eat and keep the bad guys at bay. And she started seeing some very disturbing things. And that's why she wrote the book, and she brought the attention to the world about what was happening. And because of that, they banned DDT. These pesticides are actually derivatives. Let me reword that. Chemical weapons are actually a derivative of pesticides. They're like a weakened form of it. So we are selling chemical weapons right off the shelf in stores. How did this even happen? These chemicals are so toxic they shouldn't be allowed in the hands of anyone. I actually recorded it, but I didn't get a chance to put it on YouTube yet. But watching commercials where they're advertising flea collars and dogs eating a flea-killing chemical, which is actually organophosphates, which is chlorpyrifos. You may remember Dow was not happy because we found out how horrible this stuff is for our children's brains. And they can't learn, they can't feel. This can happen to our pets too. These pesticides are some of the most toxic. We were going to ban them just like DDT. That was the plan, because we knew that they are so destructive, and we don't see that junk farming is what I call it, when we're using methods that are causing all these pesticides to be used. So to increase profits, which is actually a short-term solution that causes long-term destruction to where that soil can't even produce anymore. And that's what happens. With sustainable farming, it's the opposite. You're actually increasing the fertility and the ability of that soil to produce high nutrition, high yields. And I'm just got to ask Andrew. Andrew is he's our engineer here.
Yes, I am. What do you have to ask? Hello out there, Inland Empire.
Yeah,
what do you have to ask me today, Elaine?
Well, this is, we're talking about, things that seem logical and make sense, because I live with a philosopher. And that, I'm like, I want to tell everyone how powerful their dollars are, and that we could stop all this when we stop buying it.
Yeah.
But what does the philosopher mind come back and tell me? He said that that system is not really very successful. For some reason, I guess it doesn't get through. When you say, we can change the world with our dollars, so vote with your dollars, buy from local farmers. And didn't we have, did you get any of those videos downloaded yet? No. It's okay if you didn't. That's okay. We could do it next week. But had a farmer's market one that we'll start next week. We're going to start playing a 2-minute Wisconsin vegetable gardener tips on gardening, getting your garden started. We have.
Are they like the best ones in the world?
They are really good. And when you see everything that they grow, they are just so good at this. And they have their own radio show that I highly recommend, because that's what they talk about, gardening. And you can just see everything they grow. It looks fantastic. Yeah. And they have just all kinds of tips. And actually, we have them all right on our website. If you go to smarthealthtalk.com and you look under gardening, we have so much great information under gardening. Not only these 2-minute gardening tips, all different types of things, from dealing with weeds and bugs and what seeds you should plant and how to container garden and intercropping and hardening and how to save your seeds and how to get bigger yields and how to fertilize. I mean, so many different things. And of course, it's all without using harmful chemicals and pesticides. And so we're going to start playing those during our show to try to get everyone inspired to start their own garden. And, if you don't have space, you can still garden in pots. And if you tune in to KCAA Radio, you can see us right here in the studio. And did you know that that's where you can watch our show? You can watch it right from KCAA Radio. Right, Andrew?
KCAAradio.com.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You can also go to YouTube, KCAA TV, and we are streaming live on YouTube, or Tiki Live as well.
Wow, we're all over the place.
We're all over the place,
and
literally.
Then afterwards, our podcasts go on iHeartRadio.
Of course.
Our podcasts are just so in demand. I
mean,
people are like, gosh, I can't wait till that next Smart Health Talk comes out. I know
when she talks about milkweed.
Yeah, milkweed, and I got milkweed right here if you want to tune in. And I tell you, when you watch caterpillars eat milkweed and then change into a chrysalis and then into a butterfly.
Wait. I thought it went caterpillar, butterfly. There's an in-between step?
Oh, yeah, the chrysalis. Yeah.
Oh, that's when they're in the cocoon thingy, right?
Yeah, because what the butterfly does is it comes and it lays eggs under the leaf. Oh. And there's actually... you're supposed to try and find the eggs because there's a disease that's killing our monarchs. I have some theories. I'm going to write in a blog on why this is happening. I actually found an article that kind of agreed with me, and they're seeing the same kind of a thing, because it was talking about that, it's like there's like this bacterial balance within our environment and on our bodies. Like, how often do you think you should take a bath?
Oh, does this mean shower too, or just bath?
Oh, no, just shower, just cleansing your
something
skin,
with water.
Cleansing your skin.
I say every day. At least once. If you're a germaphobe, go twice. But usually in the evening time, because that's...
Really? 2 times in one day?
Well, I mean, it depends, What if you're like an outside job and stuff, you're always working and stuff, that creates a lot of oils and nastiness.
No, actually, what if I told you
Uh-oh.
that not taking a bath, you would actually smell less.
Really?
And you would be way healthier.
Okay, but what about this? What about if you're not always soaping or washing your hair? What if you're just rinsing?
Yeah, actually, there's a scientist that hasn't used anything but water for like years and years, and does not smell, has no problems, does not look dirty.
I learned biology, 9th grade. Shout out to Mr. Curtis,
Yeah.
wherever he is now, that it's okay to shower. Just don't wash your hair every day because you want to keep the oils and stuff for more than a day and stuff like
Well,
that.
actually, he was on the right track, because the sebum that your hair makes, that is the best conditioner for your hair that you can actually buy. It's perfect for your hair. And if you don't wash your hair, actually like 2 times a week max, you could go once every 2 weeks. If you have dry hair and get dandruff and all that, it's because you're using, and a lot of these are harsh. If you put a litmus test, it would turn black.
Yeah.
Because it is just so harsh. And it's like super alkaline.
I've noticed that when I do grow my hair out and I do go like 3, 4, 5 days, my hair is actually more manageable and it does things that I want it to do because it's like texture and stuff like that.
And who do you think has like spread this rumor that you have to take a bath every day, wash your hair every day? Who do you think was behind all that?
I don't know.
The cosmetic industry.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
And even you see on the shampoo, they'll put wash, shampoo, lather, rinse,
And repeat.
Yeah. And because they want you to use their product up. And what happens is that sebum that you talked about that's on your hair, it's actually on your skin as well. That's the oil for your skin. And jojoba oil, which is actually a liquid wax, which is what sebum is. It's not an oil, it's a liquid wax. So think about that. This is a liquid wax that your body secretes. And what it's doing, it's acting like an armor that's sealing up your body. It's like, it's like, like you changed into like this armor all over your body, where it's like, okay, you bacteria and virus out there, just try to get me now, because I have this great armor of bacteria that's like super thick all over my body, and you won't be able to penetrate it.
So, but the argument, Elaine, is that what if I'm a parent that's driving home right now listening to this, and I'm like, well, I have 4 teenagers, they all play sports, and they smell, and I need them to bathe every day. Why are they smelling?
Well, they're smelling because they're taking too many baths. And they're washing that balance of that bacteria and the sebum that coats the outside of your skin. They're ruining that balance, and that's why. These bacteria actually get in between your dead skin cells, even, and inside your clothes, and all of that is a protective force field that's keeping bacteria from being able to get through your skin into your body, and not just bad guys, but chemicals as well. It acts like this super barrier, because remember, it's liquid wax. What happens? Water will bead off of it. Things that maybe would penetrate will just bead. And what I've read is people that have went for long periods of time, they actually stop smelling. People that smelled before will stop smelling, because that's your body being taken over by this other bad bacteria. And they could still take a shower, but probably not wash their hair. And you don't have to use soap every single time. And it should be just plain soap, and not, you have to be really careful. These washes, Suave, and all they are so harsh, and they are so full of chemicals where, just like, I would prefer people buy like an organic bar of soap, or you can make your own. It is actually, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get it done. I've got all the stuff. I've got all this coconut oil. I have lye.
I've done that. I bought like homemade or soap made from scratch. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, and that's what they made. And do you know what lye used to come from?
No.
It used to come from wood ashes.
Oh, the more you know.
Yeah. I just thought that was so cool. So they would like burn wood, and they'd take the ash and they'd mix it with the fat that they got from the animals that they killed. And that's how they made soap. Just remember, Fight Club, they didn't use the human liposuction fat. They used the animal fat.
Right.
Okay? But same concept, and that's why they got the idea. But I want to make some coconut oil soap, and it's just really simple. You just have to be really careful with the lye because it can eat right through your skin. But as long as you're doing that, it's very, very simple. And you can make like 10 bars at a time. I mean, like organic soap can be about $5 or $6 because the oils that are in it are expensive. And the jojoba oil that I mentioned earlier, the liquid wax, like that's a really good oil to use in your soap as well, besides coconut oil. And just to put that on your skin, it helps to do that sealing of your skin. After you take a shower, you can put jojoba oil on, and it's like you've added like a layer of sebum on your skin, your little protective armor, because we don't realize we are exposed to so many things now. There's more people, they're touching stuff, they're not washing their hands when they're supposed to wash their hands, they're like touching their face, you know, coughing in their hand and then touching a doorknob, and then you're touching it, and I'm telling you, that's how this stuff spreads. And then you touch your face, or you touch a piece of food and eat it, well, you just transferred it. And that's exactly how it works. So I am highly encouraging people to maybe think twice about using all these soaps. And we don't have that much water in California. We don't need to be taking all these showers. And I'm sure people are just like, boy, that woman is just full of, you know. And I'm sure people are going to disagree with me, but I would encourage you to look into this. I think it's really a fascinating thing because this is how we evolved. People were not able to take baths all the time, and that was actually helping to keep them well and from getting sick and keeping their skin more balanced and not getting dry and their hair getting dry. And especially when you're a woman, well, men do it now too, and you're coloring your hair, you know, that right there strips a bunch of oil and
yeah, but sometimes we need to.
But yeah, I know.
Okay.
Let me tell you, I was going for the bottle the past week.
The argument is sometimes we need to.
I was going for that bottle because I was getting depressed. I was like, I can't stand looking at myself like this anymore. But what I do is I do my own, and I put jojoba oil in my hair color when I'm mixing it up with the developer.
Right.
And if you have super dry hair, you can put the oil on before you put the hair color, then put it in the hair color as well, and you'll get double protection. And I'll even like put the oil on my hair first and then use a hair dryer to kind of get the oil in. And then I mix up the color with the developer and put jojoba oil in there, and then I have more oil on my hair. And you'd be surprised, it washes out pretty good.
Yeah.
I have noticed a huge, because I used to have like the most frizziest, most damaged hair you can imagine. I've had some really bad episodes, and I started to realize my hair's super thin, it damages easy, and I have to figure out a formula here. And I think that's probably what the Kardashians do. I noticed they're like, oh, pay this money if you want to know how I keep my hair so nice. You know, it's like, I'll tell you for free, okay? It's jojoba oil. And make sure it's organic jojoba oil as well. So, yeah, we have sun oxidants. That's one of the ingredients in our sun oxidants, along with pomegranate oil and grapeseed oil. And those three together are super good for your hair. So these, you know, and the thing is, all these shampoo companies are starting to get, you know, oh yeah, let's put a little, say we put essential oils in there, and it's like a non-organic oil that's super concentrated with pesticide. They probably blow. Like they probably put enough, like if you spit in the bottle, you know,
right? When you get to the
oil.
third ingredient and it's unpronounceable, if that's a word, it's not a word, but
well,
you know what I mean.
That's some of the other chemical additives that you get in there, and they're totally unnecessary.
Yeah.
You know, again, and like some people use coconut oil for oil pulling. One of my friends was, you know, telling me about how she was using that. If I have had the worst case of I had severe bone loss and I had so much problems with my teeth. It started when I was like 13 years old because my mother fed us so much Kool-Aid with a cup of sugar in it.
Oh, yeah.
And never took us to the dentist. And I go, oh, you got 13 cavities. That's how I had to start my life out.
Oh, my gosh.
And it was just like downhill from there. But anyway, now I have dental implants, which is the best thing you could possibly do. If you need new teeth, do not go with dentures, go with implants because it saves your bone.
Ah,
When you put the implant into your bone, it stimulates your bone to make more bone. Whereas if you just pull the tooth out and just don't put anything in
it doesn't
there,
grow back.
it doesn't grow back, and your bone starts to degrade even faster. And that's why people get that sunken look in
Oh, yeah.
and all the wrinkles on their face,
Yeah,
because you have bone loss.
sure.
And that's what happened to us when we get older, right? Bone loss.
I don't know. You're asking the wrong person.
Well, yeah, I'm telling you, I'm the dietitian
Oh,
here.
okay.
I better know this. Elaine McFadden, registered dietitian. I know I spent a lot of years getting qualified for that. But I would like to let people know as far as bone goes, because we have so many the studies out there for like calcium supplements. Some of these calcium supplements actually collect in your system. But the most important thing, if you have children, you build bone, there's a window. It's like the window is wide open when you're a teenager. And you can store all kinds of calcium. It's like you're a squirrel, preparing for winter.
Yeah.
Only you're preparing for the rest of your life for
Right.
calcium
Right.
stores in your body, because you won't dip into your bone calcium stores as long as you're getting calcium, like eating greens and raw milk or something like that. You won't dip into those stores unless you're not getting enough. And if you're not getting enough calcium, your heart muscles require calcium
Yeah.
to work.
Yeah.
And if you're not getting enough calcium, your body's like, hey, that emergency, siren is going on, near,
Life alert.
emergency. We don't have enough calcium. And so people that go on these starvation diets, where I don't eat a lot, but I make sure that I'm getting these, important nutrients in the meals that I do eat. Calcium is definitely one of them, and of course potassium and phosphorus, and there's so many. But the thing is, you don't necessarily need mega doses of any one. What's more important than mega doses of like calcium, is to have a balance of lots of different nutrients, even if they're in small amounts, because it takes one nutrient to make another nutrient work. Some nutrients, they work as coenzymes, which are catalysts that make reactions happen at like 1,000,000 times faster. If you don't have that mineral present, then the coenzyme doesn't get it, and the catalyst reaction doesn't happen. And maybe you needed that. Maybe your body needed that really bad, but because you don't have the nutrition. So calcium, the window is open wide when you're a teenager, up to age 30. It just keeps closing as you get closer to 30, 35. And that means you can't store, because you have a special hormone that will allow you to store calcium. And the problem is, with teens, what are they drinking? What are they eating? They're eating fast food and soda and hot Cheetos.
Yeah, that's
and,
it.
and,
Yeah.
and like parents, I have to really
Takis,
appeal
that's
to
it.
parents out there, because kids are a huge influence on that dollar spending that I was
Yeah,
talking about
yeah.
earlier, that has such a huge influence. Although the philosopher says that knowledge is more powerful, and
Yeah.
that's why we're here. That's
Yeah.
why we're here to make you smart. You're going to be a smart consumer. You're going to look at something and go, ha, I know what they're trying to do right there. I see right through it. They're not tricking me. I'm not buying that. I want you to be out there looking at stuff and thinking like me, and be critical of everything, and not trust stuff, and like ask questions and do research. With most every product that you buy, you should be looking it up and who makes it.
Yeah.
Because these corporations don't care about our environment. They do not care about us. But there are some good people out there in the organic industry, especially, that are starting up. And maybe it is their dream to sell to Kellogg's or something someday. But in the meantime, maybe they'll change their mind. Maybe they want to, because I would like to see family-owned organic companies buying up other organic companies. Not General Mills and Kellogg's and Kraft and all these corporations buying up the organic companies, so they can just get more and more and more powerful, because their heart is not in it. They buy other organic companies because they don't make it, and they're only buying it because they want a cut of the action. It's not because they believe in it, and that's what they care about people so much, that they're willing to cut their profits so that they can have a healthier product. They don't care about that, and we have to accept that. We really do. If you're thinking that these advertisements you see on television, and I feel for parents. I had my kids, oh, can I have a soda? 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 And if they wear the parent down, and that's because they've been exposed to how many commercials.
Yeah.
I mean, kids can say McDonald's before that was one of their first words. They can identify the golden arches, before they're even 3 or something.
True story. The golden arches are the second most recognized symbol in the world. Mm-hmm. Only the cross beats them.
All right. I love trivia. Thanks for Andrew. That's
but
great.
I mean, it reinforces what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, my kids, I didn't even buy cable. I bought videos and DVD. Well, we didn't have DVDs.
Are you trying to say VHS?
Yeah, I had VHS tapes, that kind of thing, because we didn't have the DVDs back then. But yeah, I didn't even buy cable when they were going to school. I didn't want them to be influenced with all that advertising.
And the problem is with technology, you don't need cable anymore. It comes to you now.
Yeah, I didn't have the phone competing. That's why I say that I feel for parents nowadays. But the thing is, what we have to realize, we are the adult. Just like we're smart enough to know when we see our kids walking out towards the street, if they're going to cross the street by themselves, you're not going to say, oh, just go. Mm-mm. No, you're saying, you stop, you look both ways. That's how you're safe. Well, we need to teach kids how to be safe in all aspects of their life. And what's so great is once you teach kids, that their body is important, and that they only allow certain things inside their body, that they can say, no, I don't want that. That's not good for me. I'm not going to eat that. I would just as soon wait. I've been in so many positions. It's oh yeah, I could grab some, I'm hungry, but I could grab some fast food. Why? Am I so weak that I can't even get through a couple of hours of hunger? I think it makes me stronger if I'm able to do that. So, I like that challenge, and, going a day without food. There's nothing wrong with that. Fasting. We have someone here that fasts every Tuesday.
Yeah.
They're no, I'm not eating nothing like that. And I definitely am not. I'm eating way less than I used to, and I'm feeling so much better. Really that food, what is it giving you? Just ask yourself, look at that food, and you are responsible for your body and nourishing that body. And that food that you're choosing to put inside of it, is it really nourishing you? Nourishing your insides and your muscles and your brain and your immune system? Is it doing that, or is it actually degrading your body and breaking it down and making you age faster and leaving your immune system open to invasion and cancer cells floating around ready to mutate and start multiplying at a high rate, is what cancer cells do. These are all things that you can stop when you have healthy food. And people, they gotta stand strong. I mean, have you, what are some changes that you've made and that you feel good about that you've made? Because that's all I want people to do is go to our Smart Health Talk resolutions on Smart Health Talk. One of my most visited sites of all is my Smart Health Talk resolution number 10, which is to change from a meat diet to non-meat diet, but just one day per week. That's all I ask.
That's tough.
Just think if people just gave up meat, if they're eating meat every single day, and you give a bean burrito. Man, I love bean burritos.
I did that. I did vegan all day. I went to the Pet Expo over in Orange County, and I ended up eating at a vegan place down there called Native.
How was it?
It was amazing. I had the orange chicken. It was cauliflower with orange, make it look like orange chicken. And then it was surrounded by, it's like a tofu scramble.
Yeah.
It was delicious.
And see, if you do that and you're doing organic, because the thing is, you reduce your pesticide input by like 99%
Yeah.
by choosing organic. The worst organic is better than any chemical pesticide. Even if they're not like the best, purest organic farm out there, it's better than these other choices.
And the food is filling,
Yeah.
People may think, well, that's not enough, but it really is filling if you get in the, the motion of eating like that.
Okay, like for instance, well, yesterday I really didn't get hungry all day. I ended up, I really wasn't hungry at night even, but I went for, I had made some homemade bone broth from an organic chicken we had roasted.
Yeah.
And then I put some peas in there, and then we had made these, my husband made the most incredible mashed potatoes, because when you put that raw milk in there, I made pancakes, and I taste the batter, and that was the creamiest pancake batter
Wow.
I had like ever had from using that whole milk, raw milk that I get delivered to my house. And then I could tell those mashed potatoes from using that milk in there. Those mashed potatoes were like unlike other mashed potatoes. They were so creamy. So I just put like a couple of scoops of leftover mashed potatoes in my soup.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's good.
And just kind of heated them all up together. I had like some mashed potato dumplings in my soup. But that's how you use, we don't waste leftovers. I was raised where you don't waste food. And when you're buying good organic food, you'll be amazed at how long it stores. It doesn't go bad. All of the avocados that I get from Cunningham Farm, from the Grove Farmers Market, you can find a local farmers market at eatlocalgrown.com or localharvest.org. And I tell you, those avocados never get like brown spots. I cut them open. They're perfectly formed every single time. And that's because they don't gas them with ethylene gas to ripen them and force ripening by saturating them with a petroleum-based gas that makes them get ripe. And they do that to bananas and oranges and all different kinds of fruits and vegetables. I'm not sure of avocado. I think avocado is probably a fruit. And a tomato is a fruit. But they will gas tomatoes. And, you're getting this food, and it's been, the ripening process has been speeded up, and it's not the same. It just isn't. And there's no doubt that everything, I even took, and I got oranges from them, and I made a bunch of fresh orange juice. And then I took the leftover orange peels and I put them in a big 5-gallon bucket with water, and I let them just sit there and ferment. And then I took the water from that and I poured it on my rose bushes, and I could tell that it was like some sort of a fungus or something that had taken over. I could tell there was a noticeable difference in my rose bushes from using that water from the oranges. So it has like an orange oil in there that gets on the plant. And then I took the orange peels that were left over, and they went in my compost pile. So it's like, not only did I buy those oranges and get some really great fresh organic orange juice that was incredibly sweet and delicious, along with some good fiber in there, that's so important, I also was able to recycle them 2 different times. I made something that helped my roses with a fungal infection, and then I added them to my compost pile, so I'm going to get new soil out of there. So 3 uses for the oranges I got from my local farmer's market, but those oranges could have wax coating on them, which would be a petroleum-based wax product to preserve them. That orange could have been gassed. It would have been sprayed with chloropyrifos, which I was just talking earlier about how it destroys our kids' brains, and we were going to get rid of it, and that it's in the dog collars and all of these flea products. And when I talk about the pesticides that are derived from chemical weapons, that's a biggie right there. And what does that do? It destroys the brain of our children. So what is it doing to our dogs and our cats when we put these flea collars? And they even tell in the commercial, oh, well, they'll probably vomit and like start itching like crazy. You just fed them a poison. You just poisoned your animal. I have one veterinarian, and he recommends Head and Shoulder shampoo, which I don't really like. But I would rather people to use that than these pesticide flea products. They don't if your child touches the animal after you put the flea collar on, that pesticide can go through the skin of your child, and they even say don't let your child touch them.
What about that Castile soap, the Dr. Bromers? Couldn't you use that instead of Head and Shoulders?
Yes.
That thing is like literally used for everything.
Well, yeah, and they have, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because the eucalyptus.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Yeah, that one is great for putting on your dogs for fleas, because eucalyptus is good for that. You can use peppermint.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
The peppermint is also a really good one. Or if they have really dry skin, you can use like the almond oil.
Yeah.
Dr. Bronner's. And I noticed that it was in
Walmart and Target.
Actually, Sally's, or someone had a picture where it was in a beauty.
You can get the more bulky ones. I want to say they're like $8 or $9 because I just went to Sally's. Don't ask me why. But the big bulky ones for like $8 or $9, you can get them at a beauty supply place.
Yeah, and the Bronner's, I actually met Dr. Bronner like many, many years ago.
Oh, that's awesome.
40 years ago.
That's still pretty cool.
The founder, yeah. And the sons, of course, have taken it over, and they travel all over the world for their ingredients. They go and help people in other countries that are extremely poor. They pay them fair money for their products, fair wages if they're working for them, and it changes lives. You know, so in other words, when you buy a product like Dr. Bronner's, you're not just buying a product. You're actually helping groups of people in other countries that were struggling. But these are the companies that come and pay them the fair money, whereas big corporations do everything they can to destroy environments, rip off people. And I'm not just saying this off the top of my head. When the American Dietetics Association said they were going to happy about their partnership with Unilever, which is one of the worst corporations, I spent hours and hours finding out about child labor, how they had left pesticides and chemicals just in rivers and destroyed it in other countries, and then they just pack up and leave all that mess for the people there. They were manipulating Lipton tea prices so that these poor people that depend on that harvest to live on for like a year they wouldn't get hardly anything for their tea. They got the cheapest price from them. Oh, good for you. Another penny profit. You know, it's like that's what they go for. I'm just like, I would rather pay more myself, knowing, because then when I buy it, I'm drinking, using their product or drinking a tea like Numi Tea that is the same kind of company, and Choice Tea. I love them as well. They were the first organic tea company in America. They are the companies that are using these practices, and these practices are going over and making the United States have a good name in these other countries. We're going over treating people fairly. We're not coming over and bombing them and killing them and taking over their country and taking out their leader and putting our leader like stuff like that. They're actually going over there as ambassadors for us and leaving people with a good feeling about America. And then that's the kind of thing that I can feel good about being an American, when I'm supporting companies that are treating other people around the world like that. And when we support these organic companies, if they're not owned by big corporate, and you can easily find that out, you get to participate in that. You get to be a part of that, not a part of factory farm and ripping off people and destroying their land. I mean, I want no part of that. And I tell you, when I hear these people, they want this wall. If you go find Adam Ruins Everything, Trump Wall, the wall, go type it in YouTube. He talks about most people come on planes. Most people are here because they overstayed their visa.
Adam Ruins Everything. He's a good one.
Yeah,
he really is.
He did such a great thing, because he said most of the people, a lot of them are coming here on planes. So they're coming here with visas, But what happens is they overstay their visa.
Right, right.
So they're already here.
Well, you know what's going to happen, right? The wall's going to go up, and then they're going to be like, oh, well, they're finding different ways now. Even though it's not now, they've been doing it different ways. So there'll be a focus on the other ways that they're doing it once the wall goes up.
When we could be using drones.
Exactly.
I mean, we could be using
With
so
infrared.
much technology.
Yeah.
And like in California, all along the border, there's all of these endangered species areas.
Yep.
And that wall is going to destroy all of them. We have them in California. We have the butterfly sanctuary. We have the international bird sanctuary along the Texas border. You know, there are better ways of doing this. And we will be leaving this legacy for our children to have to pay for and maintain that wall for what? 100 years, 200 years, they're going to have to like repair that wall. And someone left a comment on Facebook and they're all like, well, that's what we have to do to keep all these people out of here from, immigrating here. And I'm like, we're not alone. There's countries all over the world that have immigration problems, people coming over the border.
Yeah.
So should every country in the world be building a wall all around their borders?
Yeah.
Is this do we need to build a Canadian wall too? Do we need to build,
They're not trying to get in.
Oh, yeah, we have Canadians coming here. But I would rather be there and get their free health care. I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that we have in the future elections some people that are going to be people that are not owned by big corporate. I'm going to be looking in my future candidates that I want to vote for people that are not in bed with big corporate, that have not been paid off by all these corporations, that are there for the people. And there are people like the Justice Democrats that are not pledging that they will take no corporate money. So we need to really start doing our research on the candidates for this next election.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
I want to start looking forward here. I don't want to look back. And I just, I hope people will have learned something, at least a little bit. You walked away from a couple of things that were new to you this time and that could actually improve your life. I highly recommend that you bypass the store and go direct. We've got distributors, we have brokers, we have retail markup that's on every product you're buying in that store. When you go farmer direct, you cut out all that extra money that you have to pay and you end up with better quality that lasts longer. It's better for your body. It's free of pesticides. What a bargain. What a bargain. Okay, and please go to bluemonarchproject.com. Oh, I was going to tell you, I'm going to start a blog on there with some recommendations that I have for keeping things clean for the monarchs, for one thing, preventing disease. And we were here. I was here last Sunday.
Yeah, how'd it go?
It went good.
Good.
It was my first time. I think people were kind of wondering what I was doing out there. But I did have a customer come. We were kind of scrambling for some signs and that I need to do a better job. But just getting there, and we're right here at KCAA. We're over here at the
Tri-City Center.
Tri-City Center, and it's on Industrial Park.
Where the 10 and the 210 meet between Tennessee and the Alabama exits.
Okay, you got it down, Andrew. Thank you.
Oh, 53 commercials later.
Okay.
I get it.
Okay. Well, we're right across from Big Lots, across the street from Big Lots.
Of course.
And Rent-A-Center is on the other side of us, but we're right next to the Industrial Park, that road that runs right along Tri-City there. And every Sunday, I'm going to be out there with organic plants that have none of these pesticides that can kill the bees and the butterflies. If you tune into our video on KCAA Radio or find our video on YouTube, you'll find that, you watch it, you'll see we have our milkweed plants here for the monarchs, and I have some lantana here, which I love lantana. It's so easy to grow. All the different butterflies and beneficials love it. And the colors are incredible. We have multiple colors. We have all kinds of beautiful, not just milkweed, but we're going to have more native milkweed in about a month. And we've got all kinds of beautiful flower nectar plants. And we're right here at the parking lot at Sunday from 11 to 5. And I really hope you're going to come down and see us.
So you'll be back this Sunday?
Oh, yeah, every Sunday.
Every Sunday now. Okay.
Every Sunday I want to be there, yeah.
All right.
I have to be consistent.
Yeah.
And I want to be the source because all these home improvement, they're spraying everything.
Right.
And Moon Valley Nursery, they admitted to me. They spray every single thing there with pesticides.
At least they were honest.
I know. Well, that was because I pulled it out of them. I make them tell me the truth, okay? That's why I like doing this show. I love pulling the truth out. That's what I live for, the truth. And trust me, I am very careful about what I say on here because this is important on what I tell you. This makes a difference in your life. I don't want to give you bad information. And please go, please go and listen to our podcast on iHeartRadio. I know, I did. I don't even know what
Elaine
I did.
is so passionate, she just threw a mic all the way across the room.
I know, it's just like the energy coming from my body. You know what? There is no better feeling, Andrew, than saving a life.
Yeah, true.
Just saving a life. And I want to have someone come back to me and say, hey, Elaine, I listened to you. I went to your Smart Health Talk resolutions. I went to your Blue Monarch project. I found out about the pesticides being used under problems, local pesticide use. Find out what pesticides are being sprayed around your house on bluemonarchproject.com. And please go and check out both of them, both our websites. And I hope you'll be back here next Tuesday, 4 to 5. Because that's where we're going to be. We're going to be Sunday, 11 to 5, right here at the parking lot with our organic plants. Please come and support us and the Monarchs, and we'd love to come and meet you and come and say hi to me because I get kind of lonely down there. Okay, don't leave me alone all day. Come and buy plants, everyone. Please, please, please. Okay, well, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm your host, Elaine McFadden, and I just want to encourage you, please buy organic for your family, okay? All right, thanks so much. Bye.
Once ignore these conspiracies online.